মুক্তিযুদ্ধের চেতনা বিকাশে অঙ্গীকারবদ্ধ থেকে বাংলাদেশের সঠিক ইতিহাস, ঐতিহ্য ও সম্ভাবনার নানা ইতিবাচক দিক তুলে ধরার লক্ষ্যে এবং সুস্থ সংস্কৃতি বিকাশের প্রত্যয়ে অনলাইন টেলিভিশন চ্যানেল ইউকেভিডি টিভি ডিজিটাল বাংলার আলোর মিছিলকে এগিয়ে নিতে লাইক, কমেন্ট, শেয়ার করে আপনিও থাকুন আমাদের সাথে। ইউকেভিডি টিভি, here to serve the community.
ফোন আছে? ফোন জানি নাই। সাদা পুজোটা ফোন ওনাকে দিতে হয়। সাদা ফোন এটা দিয়ে ওটা দিয়ে ফোন লাগাই করতে হবে।
কোনো সমস্যা নেই, লিঙ্ক তো পেয়েছি।
Good morning, everybody. We're just
Hi, Carl. How are you? Carl, nice to see you. You are in London? Good. Good.
We're just waiting for the Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh. She's just about to join us. So we just
Hi, Abdul. Good to see you. I couldn't unmute
Yes,
myself.
good.
What a pleasure to see you, and great to be in London.
I'm very pleased to see you.
You have a wonderful ambassador here.
Good. Are you in London now or in New York?
He's in London now, sir.
Oh, okay.
So with your kind permission, shall we start? Can everyone hear me? Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay. All right. Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, His Excellency Dr. Abdul Momen, MP, Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, His Excellency Mr. Kitak Lim, Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Baroness Patricia Scotland, Excellencies, Ambassadors, and fellow permanent representatives to the IMO, and our very, very dear Bangladeshi diaspora here in the UK and Ireland who have joined us today over the Zoom. A very good morning to you all. And it's a great pleasure for me to welcome all of you to the virtual commemorative event that the Bangladesh High Commission in London has organized at the IMO institutionally, but virtually. So we are all present at the IMO. That's what we have to believe today. This is in commemoration of the historic speech delivered today, 46 years ago, at the 29th UN General Assembly by the father of the nation of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, immediately following Bangladesh's membership in the UN in September 1974. This event is also part of the wider commemoration of the centenary of the Bangabandhu, the 100 years birth centenary of the Bangabandhu, from March 2020 to March 2021, in association with the UNESCO, where the UNESCO is also observing this year as the Bangabandhu, as the Mujib year 2020. Also, back in Bangladesh, nationally, we're celebrating the year. And this morning, the Honorable Foreign Minister, as part of the Mujib year, has just inaugurated, had observed this day with the presence of our Honorable Prime Minister and inaugurated the new premise of the Foreign Service Academy. So this day is very much a Foreign Service Day. This year's Foreign Office principal motto has been, Mujibir's theme has been Mujibir's diplomacy, friendship, and prosperity. And it has been set by the Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. Abdul Momen. And in this context, I want to express my gratitude to Honorable Foreign Minister for making time to be with us this morning, despite his very busy schedule. And in this context, today we are also observing the High Commission taking opportunity of this date, 25 September. We are also observing the the World Maritime Day, which was just observed yesterday at the IMO. And we are expressing Bangladesh's total solidarity with the global maritime community, our fellow IMO member states, as well as the IMO Secretary General and his very brilliant team at the Secretariat on the World Maritime Day. As a maritime and seafaring nation at the Bay of Bengal, Bangladesh also reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the vision and the mission of the IMO and the theme of the World Maritime Day 2020, Sustainable Shipping for Sustainable Planet. I take this opportunity to express our total solidarity and deep sympathies to seafarers, nearly 800,000 of them, who are stranded in the sea and they're not getting permission to come on shore and living in inhuman conditions. We hope that they'll get permission to come on board and will not be subject or victimized to this xenophobia or discrimination. And I also sympathize with all the seafarers who have died COVID time due to different accidents, perhaps because they could not land on shore. My specific gratitude today to IMO Secretary General, Excellency Kitak Lim, who has been a very dynamic and hardworking Secretary General of the IMO. He's been extremely efficient and agile in steering the IMO towards the Sustainable Development Goal. And currently, yesterday in his message, he said that currently, due to COVID, the whole world is now depending all the more on seafaring trade, on global sustainable shipping, where 80% of global trade is now extremely importantly being traded for economic recovery in post-COVID. I also want to thank Baroness Patricia Scotland, who's joined us today or probably will be joining soon, for making time to be here as a special guest. Secretary General Kitak Lim is the guest of honor. She's the special guest. She will be bringing in Commonwealth with her and her Blue Charter, where the IMO and Commonwealth actually work together. I would like to also welcome my fellow ambassadors, high commissioners from different countries. We have tried to, I know that we have so many friends there, but we have just tried to get different regions represented today. For example, Europe and the smaller and developing states. We've tried to get the ASEAN, the Middle East. We've also tried to get South Asia represented and other regions. So please do bear with us if we have omitted certain regions or my friends. We have a representative from the UK FCDO, senior representative, and CEO of the UK UNESCO Commission, which is the only UN sort of related body in the UK. And I'm really grateful to both of them for being here today and joining us. The reason that, we, as a permanent representative of Bangladesh to the IMO, today I feel extremely humbled by the fact that I could bring Bangabandhu and his 25th September speech at the United Nations, which is the most important day in the history of Bangladesh's multilateral diplomacy and multilateralism in our foreign policy, to the IMO's floor. And I could actually bring Bangabandhu to the IMO's floor, and also, perhaps for the first time, our foreign minister, a foreign minister from Bangladesh, and Honorable Foreign Minister Dr. Abdul Momen, who has been Bangladesh's permanent representative in New York for 7 years and is a multilateralist himself. So we're extremely, extremely humbled by the fact that we could bring our foreign minister here at the IMO's floor, got the Secretary General, and we have Commonwealth Secretary General, and we are presenting Bangabandhu here on the occasion of his 100th birth anniversary. 25 September is a significant day in 1974, where Bangladesh, immediately after achieving its membership of the UN as its 136th member under the charismatic diplomatic leadership of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Here, Bangabandhu delivered the first speech by the independent Bangladesh as the head of government of the independent Bangladesh. This was his only speech, first speech, and his last speech, because he'll be assassinated the next year. And this speech was delivered in Bangla, and Bangabandhu brought Bangla language spoken. It was the 7th largest spoken language in the world to the floor of the United Nations for the first time in the history of the United Nations. something extremely significant. And he's a Bengali nationalist, so obviously he made it a point, and he was charismatic, and his wisdom told him that he should be speaking in Bangla. But his speech was not about Bangladesh. His speech was all about global peace and justice. The speech is all about standing next to the oppressed people all over the world, about the UTHR and people's economic, political, social, cultural rights. And he spoke about, Bangabandhu for his for the eloquence. He was by the Newsweek April edition of the Newsweek, after Bangabandhu delivered his historic 7-March speech in Bangladesh, which was the call for independence of Bangladesh, which is now included by UNESCO at the UNESCO's Memory of the World International Register. Because of the political value of the speech, it has been preserved by the succeeding generations. Because after that speech, he was called the poet of politics. He was a person and a leader from the South who had spent 14 years of his life in prison. And he struggled and struggled to establish the economic, social, cultural, and political rights of the Bengali nation. And from that perspective, this speech was actually sort of a Magna Carta of different kinds of rights, justice for people all over the world. In his speech, he mentions about apartheid. He mentions about Africa, Asia, and Latin American countries. He expresses solidarity with all the people in the world who are oppressed. But in my opinion, the best part of the speech that I believe that represents everything he said in that speech are the challenges that we are facing today, or all the aspirations that we are looking for, the aspirations under the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. So he was way ahead of his time. But I think the best part of the speech that I believe is relevant for a post-COVID world where the entire humanity is trying to survive and need to believe that we can survive, is this part of the speech where he expresses his faith in the indomitable spirit of man's capacity to survive. And I quote from that bit: "I should like to conclude," and this is his concluding comment to the speech, "by reaffirming my faith in the indomitable spirit of man, in the capacity of the people to achieve the impossible and to overcome insurmountable odds. Our nations may suffer, but they can never die. In facing the challenge of survival, the resilience and the determination of the people is an ultimate strength," unquote. This encapsulates Bangabandhu's message to the world that is valid for today, where we are struggling to survive and overcome and recover stronger from COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, the month of September is important for Bangladesh, not only because we became a member of the UN and the 25th September speech of Bangabandhu because of our multilateral credentials, but because also 21st of September, which is the International Peace Day, and Bangabandhu's peace-centric foreign policy, which he laid out in his 25 September speech, which is friendship to all and release towards none. According to that, Bangladesh has committed to the international peace and security credentials, and we are currently the largest troops contributing country to the UN. We are out of 57 mission of the UN, we are in 52 currently, and our women peacekeepers are there as well. And at the same time, Bangabandhu's compassion and standing next to the oppressed people, that principle is carried forward, the mantle, by his daughter, his able daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who has given shelter to 1.1 million refugees in the world, reiterating or reaffirming her father's credentials in humanitarianism. Before I conclude, I would just like to mention that Bangladesh is, as a country, Bangabandhu also has a vision, a maritime vision, and he established the first Marine Academy of the country and the Maritime Zones Act. But what's most important is he wanted to see Bangladesh as a prosperous delta. And currently, as a seafaring country and a maritime nation of 165 million people, Bangladesh is asserting its credentials at the IMO, and currently 95% of Bangladesh's trade is seaborne and is totally dependent on the sea. And in the World Maritime, on the occasion of the World Maritime Day, I would like to reaffirm on behalf of the Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who has really taken maritime safety, security, and blue economy and sustainability of the ocean at the Bay of Bengal as a top priority of a government. She had settled bilateral dispute with our neighbors peacefully, and she has adopted the Blue Economy strategy and the action plan, and many other issues. But most importantly, Bangladesh, in terms of maritime credentials, we are the 13th largest shipbuilding nation in the world, but we are the #1 ship recycling nation in the world. And while we are recycling 47% of the total tonnage of steel and saving 2,000 kilograms of carbon by recycling per ton of steel in the life cycle of steel, we are actually saving all that GHGs from being emitted to the atmosphere, and we're actually contributing to the net zero. And at the same time, I would like to, for the Secretary General Kitak Lim, who had laid down his vision for the World Maritime Day, where he has given ample importance to decarbonization. I would like to give him a good news that, in Bangladesh, we have about 25 to 30 vessels, ocean-going vessels, and all of them are using low sulfur fuel. So this is one good news I'd like to give the Secretary General. The other good news is that currently there are about 30 Bangladeshi women who are actually breaking all stereotypes, all glass ceilings. They're actually steering ships, in ocean-going ships overseas, and there we are fulfilling the IMO's agenda for gender equality in the maritime sector. I would like to conclude by reiterating that Bangladesh will continue to, and of course, Bangladesh has given shelter to each and every seafarer that landed on our shores during the COVID-19. So our credentials there and our record there is absolutely impeccable and very humble. I would like to conclude by saying that, we'd like to continue to play an important role at the IMO and its policy making. And we've been at the IMO for 16 years, and we'd like to come back at the IMO Council. And I seek everyone's support so that Bangladesh can continue to contribute in IMO's mission and vision. Thank you. I would now like to, before I give the floor to the, I start the discussion, we'd just like, as a symbolic view of just a bird's eye view, 2 minutes view of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib's 25 September speech. We will see on the screen right now, where he speaks in Bengali.
Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Premier Minister di Bangladesh. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Premier Minister di Bangladesh.
সম্মানিত প্রতিনিধিবৃন্দ, ভদ্র মহিলা ও ভদ্র মহোদয়গণ, আজ এই মহান পরিষদে আপনাদের সামনে দুটো কথা বলার সুযোগ পেয়ে আমি নিজেকে ভাগ্যবান মনে করছি। মানব জাতির এই পার্লামেন্টে বাংলাদেশের ৬৭ কোটি মানুষ প্রতিনিধিত্ব লাভ করায় আপনাদের মধ্যে যে গভীর সন্তোষভাব লক্ষ্য করেছি, আমিও তার অংশীদার। বাঙালি জাতির জন্য এটা এক ঐতিহাসিক মুহূর্ত, কারণ তার আত্মনিয়ন্ত্রণের অধিকার অর্জনের সংগ্রাম আজ বিরাট সফলতা চিহ্নিত। একটি স্বাধীন দেশের স্বাধীন নাগরিক হিসাবে মুক্ত সম্মানজনক জীবনযাপনের অধিকার অর্জনের জন্য বাঙালি জাতি বহু শতাব্দী ধরে সংগ্রাম চালিয়ে এসেছে। তারা চেয়েছে বিশ্বের সকল জাতির সঙ্গে শান্তি ও সৌহার্দ্যের মধ্যে বসবাস করতে। জাতিসংঘ সনদে যে মহান আদর্শের কথা বলা হয়েছে তা আমাদের জনগণের আদর্শ, এবং এই আদর্শের জন্য তারা চরম ত্যাগ স্বীকার করেছেন। এমন এক বিশ্ব অবস্থা গ্রহণে বাঙালি জাতি উৎসর্গিত, যে ব্যবস্থায় সকল মানুষের শান্তি ও ন্যায় বিচার লাভের আকাঙ্ক্ষা প্রযুক্ত হবে। এবং আমি জানি আমাদের প্রতিজ্ঞা গ্রহণের মধ্যে আমাদের লাখ লাখ সৈনিক এই আত্মায় নিহিত রয়েছে।
Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Premier Minister de Bangladesh.
We played about 2 minutes of Bangladesh Sheikh Mujib's initial speech, the maiden speech at the UNGA. As you could see that he was an extremely popular leader of the 70s, who was known as the proto-politics, but then he just liberated a country. And he had to struggle for 3 years to get into the United Nations because of geopolitical hurdles. But in the meantime, we became member, and he ensured that Bangladesh becomes a member of 116 international organizations and all UN specialized bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to request Mr. James Bridge, Secretary General and Chief Executive of the UK National Commission for UNESCO, the only UN-related body in the UK, and we are very pleased that Mr. Bridge could join us today to speak and express solidarity with the 25 September speech and with Bangabandhu's centenary. Mr. Bridge, you have the floor. Mr. Bridge, you have the floor. James, can you hear me? James, you have to unmute your... James, you have the floor.
No, unmute করে নেই।
James, you have to unmute your mic.
Unmute তো
Unmute yourself. Yep.
না না মনে তো করে নেই। না করে নেই হইছে।
Thank you. Can you hear me now, please? Great, that's wonderful. Yeah, there was a centralized unmute, so I wasn't able to unmute myself. It's a great honor to be here, and I think a privilege as well, as we honor this very, very special day, and to hear the great and ongoing story of Bangladesh. And last night also, I was very much enjoying listening to the speech in Bangla that we just viewed, and reading the translation in English. So I'd like to thank the High Commissioner of Bangladesh to the UK and the permanent representative to the IMO on the occasion of the speech at the 29th Assembly, and also to celebrate yesterday's World Maritime Day. I would very much warmly extend greetings to the government and people of Bangladesh on the occasion of the birth centenary of the founding father, and so wonderful that we could make this happen in this difficult COVID time, and special to have everyone here in this unique way. And I think it's a way that Bangladesh has acted on to bring people together, and I just want to note that. I'm honored to be in the presence of Bangladesh's Honorable Foreign Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abdul Momen, at this event, attesting to Bangladesh's deep commitment to the UN and specialized bodies such as the IMO. I'd also like to note that this is, of course, the 75th year of the founding of the UN, and also the founding of UNESCO here in London. Immediately after Bangladesh's independence, Bangladesh was unanimously welcomed and made a member of the UNESCO General Assembly. This was before it then later became a member of the UN Assembly in '74, and the great speech that we have just heard. This is a historic record of how much diplomacy was invested by the Bangabandhu between '72 and '74 to secure universal recognition of his newly independent country by all UN members. I'd also like to note the sacrifice that he made in the many years before of imprisonment, multiple imprisonment, and bravery and courage of him and the many people around him to keep going and pursuing this ideal that was finally realized with so much struggle. Now, as the CEO and Secretary General of the UK National Commission for UNESCO, I'm pleased that UNESCO is playing a special partnership role in the commemoration of the centenary year. And this is in association with the government of Bangladesh, not only at UNESCO headquarters in Paris, from where I bring the greetings of UK Ambassador Matthew Lodge and the Director General, Madame Audrey Azoulay, but in the many capitals of the world where UNESCO has its offices. And for this purpose, UNESCO has created its own logos for the birth centenary year, being used by Bangladesh and its people. I'd also very much like to reiterate the High Commissioner's points about the political and cultural heritage value of the Bangabandhu's historic 7th of March speech that made the call for Bangladesh's independence struggle. That speech was made again with great bravery. And this has been recognized by UNESCO in the UNESCO Memory of the World International Register as World Documentary Heritage to be stored for succeeding generations to research and learn from. So I'd encourage you to go to the UNESCO site and see it for yourselves. Now, while the UK has cooperated and worked with Bangladesh at UNESCO in Paris, I'm really happy to mention here that the UK National Commission for UNESCO has been working with Her Excellency, the Bangladeshi High Commissioner, in the observance of the UNESCO declared International Mother Language Day, and events were held on the 21st of February 2019 and 2020 in London, and I have very fond memories of them. I want to pay great tribute to Bangladesh for tabling a resolution at the UNESCO General Assembly in '99 to recognise the 21st of February, which is the Bengali Language Martyr Day, as the International Mother Language Day, promoting linguistic and cultural diversity and multilingualism. I want to convey my special thanks to Her Excellency Sayeeda Muna Tasneem, the High Commissioner, for promoting these multilingual initiatives in London for the past 2 years in collaboration with us. And I think it's again notable that she is the first woman High Commissioner, and also the great note of your great woman Prime Minister. In concluding, I would like to quote in translation from the maiden speech made in Bangla, so of course I'm doing this in translation, made at the UN in paragraph 10 by the Bangabandhu. And he said, "This is the moment when we must reaffirm in unequivocal terms that there is an international responsibility to ensure that everyone, everywhere, should enjoy the economic, social, and cultural rights indispensable for her dignity and the free development of her personality as guaranteed to her by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These values are very much needed to be upheld, especially today, in facing up to the challenges of a post-pandemic world through international collaboration and the responsibility to create a sustainable recovery." My great thanks to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bridge, for this wonderful intervention and expressing solidarity with the speech of Bangabandhu and for your kind words towards me and towards our Honorable Prime Minister. I would now like to give the floor, and I'm sorry, actually, Fergus Ord, OBE, who was supposed to speak before Mr. Bridge. By mistake, I gave Mr. Bridge the floor. Fergus, you have the floor. I would just like to introduce that as the UKFCO is converted to UKFCTO, and I'm very happy for that. They have more power and more leverage now. And Fergus heads the head of the South Asia department, as well as the India department of the foreign FCTO. Fergus, we are extremely happy that you've joined us for the FCTO. You have the floor.
Thanks very much, Muna. Can I just check that you can hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. So, Honourable Foreign Minister Abdul Momen, Commonwealth Secretary General, my good friend and gracious hostess, Your Excellency High Commissioner of Bangladesh to the UK, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be with you today to represent Her Majesty's government as we celebrate Bangladesh's 46th anniversary at the United Nations, and to mark Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's speech on the 25th of September 1974. I know congratulations are also due to the International Maritime Organization on the occasion of World Maritime Day yesterday. Your Excellency, this is a momentous week for the world as the United Nations celebrates its 75th anniversary. The United Kingdom has been at the heart of the UN since the very beginning, hosting the inaugural meeting of the General Assembly and the Security Council, and we remain committed to supporting the UN and its key role in maintaining peace and security, upholding human rights, and supporting international development around the world. The world currently faces huge challenges, from responding to the global COVID pandemic, tackling climate change, and supporting the vulnerable in all our societies. The UK and Bangladesh are closely engaged in all of these challenges, and I am proud that we are working together in London, Dhaka, Geneva, and New York to tackle them. Bangladesh's accession to the United Nations in 1974 was a proud moment and an affirmation of the desire of the people of Bangladesh to play an active role on the global stage as a sovereign nation. Since Sheikh Mujib's speech on 25th September, and it was great to see some pictures of that, thank you, Muna, Bangladesh has realized this vision and been a major contributor to the UN. Today, as the High Commissioner has said, Bangladesh sits proudly as the #1 provider of UN peacekeepers, and Prime Minister Hasina's speech to the General Assembly this week underlined Bangladesh's commitment to the principles of multilateralism. Bangladesh's activism on climate change has been particularly remarkable. Not only has Bangladesh demonstrated its own resilience, adaptation, and preparedness measures to mitigate the impact of climate change within its borders, but it has also played an important global role, exemplified by Prime Minister Hasina's role as the chair of the Climate Vulnerable Forum. As our hosting of COP26 approaches, the UK looks forward to working closely with Bangladesh, the Climate Vulnerable Forum, and partners around the world to make COP26 a success. Since 2017, the UK and the global community have recognised Bangladesh's generosity in providing refuge for hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees displaced from Myanmar. We commend Bangladesh's ongoing role in the Rohingya crisis, and the UK will remain a steadfast partner, both in supporting the humanitarian response and using our diplomatic tools, including as penholder at the UN Security Council, to highlight the need for a political solution to enable the Rohingya to return safely, voluntarily, and with dignity. Your Excellency, the UK is proud to have stood by Bangladesh in 1971 and to have welcomed you into the United Nations. We are pleased to have supported your remarkable development success story over the past 49 years. And as we head into 2021, it will be more vital than ever to work together on key global issues, from tackling the impact of climate change to fighting the COVID pandemic. We look forward to the next chapter of our story, when we will celebrate a half-century of Bangladesh as an independent nation and 50 years of UK-Bangladesh friendship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fergus, for your wonderful, wonderful intervention. I absolutely enjoyed it. Everything you said was so meaningful. For example, we look forward to UK's COP26 presidency and Bangladesh CBF presidency's partnership, particularly during this period to the lead up to the COP26. We'll be CBF chair until 2022, and so will be UK for COP26. So absolutely look forward to the partnership. We also look forward to Bangladesh-UK 50 years diplomatic relations at Bangladesh at 50, so that coincides. And lastly, your continued support as the pen holder at the UN Security Council on the Rohingya issue. we would like to see UK join Netherlands and Canada and Gambia in the justice wagon as well. With these words, the next speaker would have been Baroness Patricia Scotland, but she'll join us after 11:30. And now I have the honor and the very pleasure of giving the floor to His Excellency Mr. Kitakling, who has been IMO Secretary General 2 terms, and he's been the most grounded Secretary General, close to sustainable development goals, and really steering the organization extremely dynamically, extremely agile person. And we are so honored to have you here, Secretary General Kim. You have the floor, sir.
Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to sincerely thank Her Excellency Ms. Saida Muna Tasnim for inviting me to participate in this virtual commemorative event. I'm honored to participate and represent the IMO as the only United Nations specialized agency whose headquarters is based in United Kingdom to commemorate this special day for Bangladesh at the UN, reaffirming Bangladesh's commitment to the UN as well as to the IMO, and the World Maritime Day 2020, which we observed just yesterday. I also extend my congratulations to the government of people, Bangladesh, on the occasion of the birth centenary of their founding father, who dedicated his life for peace, freedom, and justice of Bangladesh. I would also like to commend Bangladesh for building strong maritime capability and leadership since joining the IMO in 1976, only 2 years after joining the UN. IMO's success greatly depends on the support its member state, and I'd like to thank Bangladesh for its continued support. Bangladesh has always played a proactive role at the IMO, including as a member of IMO Council for more than 16 years, and contributed to the development of IMO instrument and the standards for the global maritime industry. And I'm very certain that Bangladesh will continue its strong support in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, this commemorative event today also celebrates the World Maritime Week. When we chose the theme for this year, Sustainable Shipping for a Sustainable Planet, we had yet to imagine a world changed and challenged by the COVID-19 pandemic. At IMO, we have worked tirelessly to address the impact on the shipping and maritime industry, especially on seafarers. In these challenging times, the ability of shipping services and the seafarers to deliver essential goods, including medical supplies, food, and fuel, is essential to responding to and overcoming this crisis. Nevertheless, the pandemic has shown that shipping, the most reliable, efficient, and cost-effective method of international transportation that carries more than 80% of global trade, that remains the leading facilitator of a global economy. Therefore, shipping and maritime will be at the heart of the economic recovery and future sustainable growth far into the future, supporting inclusive and resilient economy to underpin the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Supported by IMO's regulatory framework, IMO member state and the maritime industry are engaged on a journey of transformation toward a sustainable future. An excellent example for ensuring the sustainability of shipping are Bangladesh's efforts in improving health and safety standards in the ship recycling industry. The safe and environmentally sound ship recycling in Bangladesh, which is called the SANSREC, that project, generously funded by the government of Norway and jointly implemented by the government of Bangladesh, IMO, and the Secretariat of Basel and Rotterdam and the Stockholm Conventions, has been designed to help build Bangladesh's capacity and establish the condition that will enable the ratification of the Ship Recycling Convention by 2023. This will be a crucial step to ensure the sustainability of shipping for global maritime shipping community. These initiatives demonstrate how IMO, its member states, civil society, and the shipping industry are working together to ensure that shipping continues and strengthen its contribution toward sustainable growth. In all our efforts, Bangladesh's support and engagement in the IMO's work has been a vital asset toward the progress of IMO's key policies, in particular our work to achieve sustainable shipping. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the government of Bangladesh, its shipping industry, its seafarers, and its people for their continued cooperation and support. With that, I wholeheartedly wish Bangladesh every success and prosperity in the future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Secretary General Kim. Thank you so much, Secretary General Lim, for your kind words towards Bangladesh. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was the first Prime Minister in 2011 to recognize ship recycling industry as a formal industry. Before that, it was not in the formal industry category. And then in 2018, she set the rules in 2011. And 2018, she had adopted the Act, the Ship Recycling Act of Bangladesh. That act, she had committed that by 2023, Bangladesh will be preparing itself to sign the Hong Kong Convention. To sign the Hong Kong Convention. So we are preparing and working with the private sector, and we thank the IMO along with the other partner governments who are supporting the SANSEC project, which is preparing Bangladesh's ship recycling industry so that we'll be able to sign. Because if we sign early without preparations, we will not be able to live up to the commitments. So we're preparing ourselves. And also thank you for your kind words about seafarers. But at the end of the day, we are always there for the IMO because we are a seafaring nation. We have the Bay of Bengal and Bangladesh's 8.13% growth. We were the fastest growing economy in Asia last year. And currently, even now, we are 5.2%, the highest in South Asia, according to ADB. So therefore, the 60% of the growth depends on the sea, perhaps more than that. So it's extremely important that we cooperate in the IMO in setting the rules and the trends. We recall with gratefulness your visit to Bangladesh in 2017, and we look forward that when COVID is over, you'll visit again, hopefully to see our preparation for the Hong Kong Convention. But I just wanted to reiterate again, I'm very excited, there are 30 Bangladeshi women who are actually seafarers now. You have to congratulate us for that. I now move on, Commonwealth Secretary General, Baroness Patricia Scotland. She has joined us. We're thankful to her for that. Baroness Patricia Scotland, I don't know how to introduce her. She was the first woman of color to serve as UK's Attorney General, and perhaps the first woman of color to serve as Commonwealth Secretary General, and perhaps the first woman to serve as Commonwealth Secretary General. So, needs no introduction. She's been chairing the Commonwealth for the past 4 years, I think, and we are extremely happy to have her here. We're working closely with Commonwealth. The reason I've invited her here, because that's the other international organization. Of course, IMO is the only UN specialized body, but there is a relevance between Commonwealth and IMO, and she brings in Blue Charter and the entire Commonwealth with her. Baroness Patricia Scotland, you have the floor, madam.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. I thank wholeheartedly the Bangladesh High Commissioner and the Permanent Representative to the IMO and the Bangladesh High Commission in London for inviting me to commemorate two momentous events of our time and history. Yesterday, the 24th of September, we celebrated the World Maritime Day. Today, the 25th of September, we celebrate 36 years of the maiden speech made by Bangladesh's founding father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, at the 29th UN General Assembly on the 25th of September 1974, only a few days after Bangladesh's admission to the United Nations. Here, I must also express profound happiness at the fact that the first major international organization that Bangladesh joined in April 1972 under the leadership of the father of the nation was the Commonwealth. This was long before Bangladesh could become a member of the United Nations in 1974. I extend my heartiest congratulations to the government and people of Bangladesh on the occasion of the birth centenary of their founding father, the Bangabandhu, in 2020-2021. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was a charismatic and visionary leader who dedicated his life to democracy, peace, freedom, human rights, and justice, values the Commonwealth holds dear. He expressed his unfailing conviction and commitment to these values at the 1973 Ottawa Chogam and the 1975 Kingston Chogam as the leader of Bangladesh's first delegations to the Commonwealth. I welcome the presence of Bangladesh's Foreign Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abdul Momen, a dynamic multilateral diplomat and UN permanent representative in New York for 7 years. His presence here attests to Bangladesh's deep commitment to multilateralism at the UN, the IMO, and the Commonwealth. I also want to thank my dear friend, the IMO Secretary General, His Excellency Mr. Kitak Lim, for his vibrant leadership of the IMO, and I reaffirm my commitment to enhance Commonwealth IMO collaboration on oceans and SDG 14, specifically between the Commonwealth's Blue Charter and Sustainable Ocean Programme and the IMO's Sustainable Development of a Blue Economy and Prevention of Marine Plastic Pollution. I'm so happy to congratulate Bangladesh for its 36 years of membership to the United Nations and its continued leadership in multilateral relations, including in peacekeeping and security within the UN system, attaining high economic growth and SDG leadership, women empowerment, climate resilience, natural disaster management and early warning, and the blue economy and digital development. And I think it is so important for us to commend Bangladesh for the sterling efforts it made to evacuate 2.5 million people from its coast to safety in less than 5 days before a Category 5 cyclone Amphan hit Bangladesh and India in May of this year. Bangladesh has been playing a leadership role in the Commonwealth as the founding champion of the Action Group on Commonwealth Blue Charter, as the B2B business-to-business connectivity cluster led within the Commonwealth connectivity agenda, and in innovation on the SDG tracker, as well as sustainable usage of life on land, the women empowerment and gender equality, racial discrimination and disability. And I thank and congratulate Bangladesh for having been chosen as the new chair of the Commonwealth Ministers Group on Guyana. I'm also aware that Bangladesh has taken over the presidency of the Climate Vulnerable Forum and the Vulnerable 20 group of ministers of finance for the term 2020 to 2022, at which several Commonwealth countries are members. And I hope that Bangladesh would become the voice of the climate vulnerable countries, especially the small island states, and promote their interests in the global forum. Bangladesh is not only a friend, but also a country of action. And I'm aware that you are hosting the first global center on adaptation in South Asia, Dhaka. And this centre aims at accelerating adaptation actions and solutions. And I want to thank the Right Honourable Present Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the Honourable Abdul Kalam Abdul Momen, Foreign Minister, for Bangladesh's continued humanitarian global leadership in hosting the Rohingyas. The Commonwealth will always support Bangladesh in this magnanimous gesture, and we express our wholehearted solidarity. The whole Commonwealth family stands with you and pray for a just, fair, and lasting solution to such painful events. On the 25th of September 1974, at his maiden speech at the United Nations, Bangabandhu, a man of peace, a son of the Commonwealth, said this, and I quote, "Our total commitment to peace is born of the realization that only an environment of peace would enable us to enjoy the fruits of our hard-earned national independence and to mobilize and concentrate all our energies and resources in combating the scourges of poverty, hunger, disease, illiteracy, and unemployment." End quote. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be with you all on such a wonderful day. Our minds and hearts are with you, the wonderful people of Bangladesh. And I'm proud that I've been able to dress in a way that flies Bangladesh's colours. God bless Bangladesh. God bless her people always.
Thank you, Patricia. You're looking very colorful there. Yes, we Bangladeshi people are very colorful. There's no doubt about that. We believe in diversity. In summing up, thank you very much for, mentioning that Bangabandhu in Bangladesh was embraced by the Commonwealth, the first international organization where he was welcomed, and he participated in the 70 and 75 Ottawa and Kingston summits. And definitely, he had interactions with Her Majesty the Queen. We absolutely value and treasure those. And every time he went to this Chogam, he actually passed through London, because I have historic record of that. So it's very much linked to the Commonwealth. And just wanted to assure you that Bangladesh, as the lead of the business-to-business connectivity cluster, will be hosting a conference in November to enhance inter-Commonwealth trade and to connect the business and chambers of the Commonwealth countries, which is currently there's no hub like that. Thank you for your kind words towards our Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Foreign Minister, and we look towards having the Rohingya as an agenda of the Commonwealth, CPAM, as well as the Rwanda-Kigali Summit. With those words, I now have the honor to call upon our Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. Abdul Momen, to speak. Normally in Bangladesh's protocol, the junior person speaks first and the chief guest speaks at the end. But over here, because of, Mr. Kitaklem and Secretary General would be now in the first segment, we are requesting Honorable Foreign Minister to speak. But before that, let me just say 2 words about our Honorable Foreign Minister, with whom I've had the pleasure of working while he was permanent representative in New York, and I was Director General UN back in the ministry. Dr. Momen is PhD doctor, and he has graduated, he was professor of economics. He's taught in Harvard. He's taught in MIT. He's an extremely accomplished professor of economics, but he's also worked, he's had the pleasure of, or the honor of seeing Bangabandhu from when he was much younger, because his family has worked with Bangabandhu. So from that perspective, from academician's perspective, he had joined as permanent representative of Bangladesh to the UN in 2009, and probably is the longest serving permanent representative who had spearheaded many resolutions, including on autism, culture of peace, and shared so many, as Vice President of ECOSOC and President of UNICEF and many other bodies during those 7 years, and really taken the profile of Bangladesh and also our Honorable Prime Minister's development credentials to really our highest position. So we're extremely honored to have him. The first time he contested an election Right after he came back to Bangladesh, he won that election, MP from Sylhet. And as we know that in London, in the UK, there's 90% of the Bangladeshi British people are from that region, Sylhet. So it's extremely popular here. And we're extremely, extremely honored to have you here, sir, with us. You have the floor, sir, Honorable Foreign Minister.
Thank you, Ambassador High Commissioner Muna, who is a very close friend of mine. We worked together during my UN time. And I am very lucky to see my old friend Carl around here. So welcome, Carl. Yes. Anyways, is His Excellency Mr. Kita Klim, Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, Her Excellency Baroness Patricia Scotland, Secretary General of the Commonwealth. I loved your speech. Excellencies, ambassadors, and permanent representatives to the IMO, our Bangladesh diaspora in UK and Ireland, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all in London. 46 years ago, on this day, 25th September 1974, Bangladesh father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, delivered his maiden speech in his native Bengali language at the 29th UN General Assembly. In his speech, he highlighted nearly 27 issues. Many of those are being debated and discussed in the corridors of UN till today. After more than 2 years of delay, Bangladesh was accepted as the 136th UN member on the 17th September 1974. This year, as we celebrate the historic birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, in association with the UNESCO during the UN's 75th anniversary. I thank our High Commissioner and permanent representative to the IMO, Ambassador Saida Muna Tasneem, for organizing this event at the IMO, the specialized urgent agency of the UN in the UK, coinciding with the World Maritime Day 2020. On this occasion, I would like to pay my deepest homage to the architect of independence, father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, without whom Bangladesh could not have emerged as an independent and sovereign state. Today, I take this opportunity to thank all those countries that supported Bangladesh's membership to the UN in 1974, including UK. I take this opportunity to specially facilitate the IMO Secretary General and his team and express our solidarity with ambassadors and peers of all 174 IMO member countries, including all littoral states, small island developing states, and landlocked countries on the occasion of the World Maritime Day 2020. Bangladesh, under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, wholeheartedly support this year's WMD theme, sustainable shipping for a sustainable planet, especially in a most challenging COVID-19 era. Ladies and gentlemen, in his maiden speech at the UN, Bangabandhu placed multilateralism and global peace and prosperity at the center of his foreign policy. And I quote, "The Bengali nation have aspired to live in peace and friendship with all the nations of the world. Our total commitment to peace is born of the realization that only an environment of peace would enable us to enjoy the fruits of our hard-won national independence and to mobilize and concentrate all our energies and resources in combating the scourges of poverty, hunger, disease, illiteracy, and unemployment." Unquote. He emphasized the leading role by the United Nations for pursuing development, peace, and justice. And I quote, "In a world that is marked by strife and human misery, the United Nations remains the focus of man's hope for the future," unquote. 46 years later, as humanity faces world's greatest pandemic, the COVID-19, that has claimed nearly 1 million lives and caused around $21 trillion US dollar in GDP losses to global economy, Bangladesh, led by Bangabandhu's missionary daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, continues to pursue Bangabandhu's foreign policy, placing our faith in the United Nations. That to overcome and recover from the pandemic, both the developed and the developing nations need the United Nations now more than ever. The multilateralism still is the way forward for setting aside our geopolitical rivalries and regroup to collectively recover from the pandemic under stronger United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, like Bangabandhu's aspirational foreign policy, which is relevant to emerging challenges, his pragmatic maritime vision of 1972 continues to guide our deep and abiding commitment to the mission and vision of IMO and our aspirations as a maritime nation. It was Bangabandhu who quickly reconstructed seaports in war-ravaged Bangladesh and established Bangladesh Marine Academy in Chattogram that generated more than 10,000 world-class seafarers that Bangladesh boasts today. Bangabandhu's enacted Maritime Zones Act in 1974 continues to provide the regulatory platform for peaceful demarcation of maritime boundary with our Bay of Bengal neighbors, our maritime safety and security, a sustainable shipping industry, and our ambitious aspirations for a blue economy and Delta Plan 2100. Mr. Secretary General, as a responsible member of the IMO, we are deeply committed to the welfare and unhindered movement of the seafarers all over the world during the perilous COVID-19 crisis. Bangladesh, under the guidance of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, provided highest possible support and succor to every seafarer that anchored at our bay. We never imposed any restrictions on crew changes during the pandemic, granted visa on arrival to each and every seafarer, and allowed them to stay onshore. Moreover, we automatically extended the validity of documents of all seafarers and facilitated speedy repatriation of all stranded seafarers to their respective home countries. We allowed holders of foreign issued certificate of competencies to continue their jobs in Bangladesh, in Bangladeshi registered ships. We did all these even in crisis time as a human and moral obligation. I take this opportunity, Mr. Secretary General, to thank you and your team, as well as member countries, for efficiently facilitating granting of onshore access to Bangladeshi mariners. I urge upon those member states that are yet to grant access to Bangladeshi seafarers to come forward to their moral obligation and expedite the repatriation of Bangladeshi mariners. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first appearance and interaction at this very important platform of the IMO. And I'm so very pleased to see Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Baroness Patricia Scotland's vibrant participation in today's event and her kind words towards Bangabandhu and Bangladesh. Having worked as PR of Bangladesh to the UN, it was great to see some of my old friends from New York here and meet some new friends, peers and ambassadors from all regional groups. I want to thank you all on behalf of our Prime Minister and the government for your tributes to our father of the nation, including those by senior representatives of UK government for emceeing Bangabandhu's 8 January 1972 London trip and his 7th March speech. I also like to thank the UNESCO and here, especially India, who helped us a lot during our independence time. Before concluding, I would like to reaffirm that to realize Bangabandhu's maritime vision for a prosperous and sustainable Bengal Delta, its dynamic daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, has integrated the Bangladesh Delta Plan 2100, our Maritime Zones Act 2019, our proposed Blue Economy Work Plan 2020, and our NDCs and Climate Change Strategy and Action Plan of 2009, all into one national sustainable development strategy. In 2019, with 8% true economic growth, Bangladesh emerged as the Asia's fastest growing economy. From the bottomless basket of 1970s, we have become a land of opportunities now. During COVID-19, despite major losses in GDP and exports, our Prime Minister unfolded our largest ever incentive package and bailout of $12.3 billion, almost 4.7% of GDP, to protect our industry, our lives and livelihoods. As a result, despite COVID-19, you'll be happy to know, as per Asian Development Bank's September 2020 Economic Growth Outlook, Bangladesh is expected to grow at 5.2% in 2020, the highest in this region. We have in Asia, we have just assumed the presidency of the Climate Vulnerable Forum of 48 climate vulnerable countries and hosting of the Global Center for Adaptation for South Asia in Dhaka, all geared towards building climate resilience and a sustainable planet. We look forward to returning to the IMO Council next year, the 50th year of our independence, to advance Secretary General's call for sustainable shipping for a sustainable planet in partnership with IMO and our fellow member countries. I thank you. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever.
Foreign Minister, we're extremely grateful to you for such a wonderful speech, where you have indicated that the Bangladesh presidency of the CBF looks forward to working with IMO as well as Commonwealth, because within the IMO, CBF is a forum of 48 most climate vulnerable countries, and out of which 41 are members of the IMO, and 15 are small island developing countries, and from the Pacific, Caribbean, and Africa, members of the Commonwealth. So we absolutely look forward towards building more partnership and organizing events during our CBF presidency with the IMO and the Commonwealth. Sir, I hope that you will stay with us, because we have some high commissioners and permanent representatives to IMO who will be speaking on this occasion, expressing solidarity with our day. We want to thank you once again for being with us today. We will now request my dear colleague, His Excellency Dr. Kevin Isaac, who's the High Commissioner and also permanent representative to the IMO for St. Kitts and Nevis. He is currently the very honorable and unanimously elected chair of the Commonwealth Board of Governors. He's extremely loved by everybody. He's an extremely amiable person and extremely efficient chair. Kevin, you have the floor.
Thank you. Distinguished Foreign Minister Momem, Excellencies, special guests, Secretaries General of the IMO and Commonwealth, colleague and friends. I want to thank my dear colleague, Her Excellency Saida Muna Tasneem, High Commissioner of Bangladesh and PR to the IMO, for inviting me to participate in this important virtual commemorative event organized by the Bangladesh High Commission here in London to commemorate the maiden speech of Bangladesh's founding father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, at the 29th General Assembly on the 25th of September 1974, Bangladesh's membership to the UN, and of course, World Maritime Day. I'm extremely pleased to acknowledge Your Excellency, the Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, for being with us. I know that the Foreign Minister has always been very close to the SIDS and is remembered for his close collaboration, not only under the South-South cooperation umbrella, but his partnership with many countries when he was permanent representative at the United Nations. Allow me to extend heartiest congratulations to the government and people of Bangladesh on the occasion of the commemoration in 2020-21 of the centenary of the birth of your founding father, the Babangdu. I pay homage to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman on the centenary of his birth as a noble and notable leader who worked tirelessly for the establishment of Bangladesh's statehood and for a pivotal role in the trajectory of his country's democracy, which has led to Bangladesh's independence in 1971. I congratulate Bangladesh for its membership to the United Nations in 1974 and recall his maiden speech on the 25th of September, 1974, which was a seminal speech and which still holds currency today. Bangladesh and St. Kitts and Nevis have been cooperating closely in many fora, such as the UN, the IMO, and the Commonwealth. I remember as a young Foreign Service officer in St. Kitts and Nevis, working very closely with an international expert from Bangladesh through a UN program to build capacity in St. Kitts and Nevis. And interestingly, back then, St. Kitts and Nevis and Bangladesh did not have diplomatic relations. Bangladesh's solidarity with SIDS, the PIFs on issues of climate vulnerability, natural disaster, blue economy and ocean governance continues. And this is why I'm extremely delighted, especially since Her Excellency Muna Tasmin and I started discussing Bangladesh and St. Kitts and Nevis is becoming closer through diplomatic relations, that we were successful in signing formal diplomatic relations last month in Washington, D.C. It is our hope that by formalizing our relationships, it would pave the way for greater partnership, cultural exchanges, and a new era of mutual cooperation, whether in bilateral trade, tourism, ocean management and governance, or climate cooperation. Let me congratulate Bangladesh for taking over the presidency of the Climate Vulnerable Forum and the Vulnerable 20 group of ministers for the term 2020 to 2022. I encourage Bangladesh to become a vocal advocate for climate vulnerable countries, many of which are small island developing states, and to work with us in promoting our interests. Congratulations also to the Honorable Prime Minister and to yourself, the Foreign Minister, for Bangladesh's tremendous humanitarian support and for providing shelter to the distressed community of more than 1 million Rohingya from Myanmar who face existential threats. I reiterate my government's full solidarity with the government and people of Bangladesh, and I trust that the Commonwealth will continue to treat with this important issue. On World Maritime Day, during this unprecedented, difficult time, global maritime solidarity provides an excellent opportunity to raise awareness of the United Nations Sustainable Goals and to showcase the work that the International Maritime Organization and its member states are doing and in undertaking to achieve these SDGs. Finally, and in this regard, I commend Bangladesh for supporting and agreeing to allow onshore boarding of all seafarers during the COVID-19 crisis and for facilitating their repatriation to their home countries, which is an important act of solidarity during this global health crisis. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for your kind words towards Bangladesh and Bangabandhu and his 25th September speech. I'm really, really happy that, better late than never. After nearly 50 years, we have established diplomatic relations, and I know that you took the initiative from London, and I did want to do it, and we really wanted the Honorable Foreign Minister to be, we wanted a picture where you and I will sign it and he'll be standing at the back. However, it's not accredited to me, it's accredited to High Ambassador in Washington. So he's the one who got the opportunity to sign the MOU. But inshallah, we will continue this diplomatic relations and cooperation. Kevin, I would particularly like to mention that at the Climate Vulnerable Forum's presidency, Bangladesh's key focus would be the existential threat that the small island developing countries face. And at the Commonwealth, we are absolutely looking forward to organizing one event, perhaps in just before the CFAM, of Commonwealth members and the Bangladesh CBA presidency. So we absolutely look forward to that. And thank you for your kind words to our Honorable Foreign Minister. You served in New York, so obviously you must have seen Dr. Momen. Thank you for your kind words. I now would like to request my good friend, the High Commissioner of South Africa, who's going to bring a strong African women voice to this forum, Ambassador Tambo, who, just a few days back, she organized this interesting cocktail, which was a virtual cocktail for all the lady ambassadors in the UK. And you'd be surprised to know there are more than 30 lady ambassadors in the UK right now and high commissioners. So Excellency Tambo has been a very brilliant diplomat of our country, and she's a member of she worked former president of the African National Congress, and hence she's a lawyer by profession, and she served as the South African Women's Chamber and Commerce president. So therefore, she's extremely holds many hats, and extremely diverse and capable person. I hope that we look forward to working with South Africa and with her within the Commonwealth to advance our climate agenda. Ambassador Tambo, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. This is such an incredible honor, a privilege. And so I have to start, I think. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I must start first, my sister, by thanking you, Saida, for inviting me to take part in this tremendously important commemoration. I'd also like to acknowledge with great respect your Foreign Minister, Minister Abdul Momen, for taking time to come and participate and share his view with us. Of course, I have to greet with great affection the Secretary Generals of the IMO, His Excellency Kitak Lim, and of course my sister, Right Honourable Patricia Holland, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Tremendously important woman in our times, I believe. I'd also like to greet the other excellencies, the distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are also with us on this day to celebrate this tremendous, tremendous occasion. Firstly, though, I should say congratulations to the People's Republic of Bangladesh on this birth centenary of the founding father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. We also note that this centenary comes at a very challenging time when the community of nations is engulfed by the challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic. However, nothing will deter us from joining hands to celebrate this historic centenary with the people and the government of Bangladesh. As South Africa, we drew a lot of strength and inspiration from the leader of the caliber of Mujibur, who was at the forefront in liberating his people and advocated for free and democratic society for Bangladesh. As he was known as the father of the nation, Mujibur became a beacon of hope, not only in Bangladesh, but to the world at large, particularly for those countries that were colonized, oppressed, and living under autocratic tyranny. My sister, after attaining independence in 1971, I think it's important for people to know that the people of Bangladesh stood side by side and in solidarity with South Africa and offered us unwavering support in the fight against the heinous and callous system of apartheid. That extraordinary support carried us along and raised our hopes and our resilience, leading to South Africa gaining her independence in 1994. And during our democratic dispensation, Bangladesh became one of those countries to establish the formal diplomatic ties with South Africa, leading to the opening of the Bangladesh High Commission in South Africa, Pretoria, in February 1995. You were amongst the first, of course. That relationship did not end there. Both countries continued to become significant partners and critical players at the bilateral and at the multilateral levels. At the bilateral level, I recall that in July 2017, South Africa and Bangladesh had a very successful meeting in South Africa during the 4th Senior Officers Meeting, which was forged through the historic bond of solidarity, friendship, and cooperation. That meeting focused on the multilateral items, seeking to strengthen the excellent relations between the two countries. And some of the milestones which were achieved during that meeting include trade relations, seeking to boost sustainable economic growth, generating employment opportunities for our peoples, and cooperating in the fields of education and technology. This centenary is a celebration at a very crucial time in our lives, where the United Nations is also celebrating its 75th year anniversary under the theme, "The Future We Want, the UN We Need," reaffirming our collective commitment in multilateralism. This theme resonates very well with the speech which was delivered by Mujibur at the United Nations in 1974, where he reaffirmed that the UN is the hope for the future. Therefore, multilateralism was very fundamental to the ethos and character of Mujibur. And those traits have also characterized the important role played by Bangladesh on other structures of the United Nations, particularly at the International Maritime Organization. At this point, I would like to congratulate the IMO for a very successful World Maritime Day and a very, very interesting, informative and educational virtual conference. Yesterday, South Africa also had a day of celebration. We celebrated our National Heritage Day, an occasion to continuously celebrate the diversities in culture that unite South Africans as a country. In regard to South Africa and Bangladesh being members states of the IMO, we are committed in recognizing that the IMO remains the only multilateral organization which seeks to facilitate global seaborne trade by ensuring that shipping remains a preferred and sustainable means of transportation for generations to come. My sister, please allow me to conclude my remarks by quoting a few words from the speech of our first democratic statesman, President Nelson Mandela, during his visit to Dhaka, Bangladesh, in March 1997, to celebrate Bangladesh's 25th anniversary of independence. And he said, I quote, "I have a deep respect for Bangladesh. I have a deep respect for Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Standing in this great country today, I also want to be a friend of the Bangladesh people," unquote. As Nelson Mandela desired, South Africa is indeed a friend, a brother, and a sister in arms with the People's Republic of Bangladesh. May I wish you a happy centenary, and please be assured of our continued love and support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, High Commissioner Tambo, for your kind words. But what you brought in is the admiration of Nelson Mandela, the greatest human rights leader of the world ever, alongside with Martin Luther King, that he recognized Bangabandhu. He loved Bangabandhu and his struggles. We always try to compare how many years Bangabandhu spent in prison and how many years Nelson Mandela did, and their life story is pretty much the same. every time he would be going out of the prison, immediately he'd be arrested for some other excuse, so he could never come out. So these two great people's leaders' life and history needs to be comparable and researched. I just want to mention here that we look forward to working with South Africa at the Commonwealth and at the IMO, and also bilaterally. But on the question of apartheid, Bangabandhu in his speech actually spoke for everyone. It's like he complained to the whole world body about all the problems in the world and how it should be solved. That was his speech in summary. Thank you very much for your participation. We look forward to working with you in the Commonwealth. I want to mention that this morning, our Honorable Prime Minister, at the leadership of the Honorable Foreign Minister, inaugurated the new premises of the Foreign Service Academy. So the Foreign Service Academy in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, where all our diplomats get trained, was housed in a heritage building, which was originally built during the between 1947, when Bangladesh was erstwhile East Pakistan, for Her Majesty the Queen. So it's quite a significant building. Each time we would go there, and we were the first batch to train there. And when we went there, we saw the bedroom where Her Majesty had slept, along with Duke of Edinburgh, and everything was custom made for them, because it was purposefully built for the Queen, for her visit to Bangladesh, for erstwhile East Pakistan. And later on, it served as Bangabandhu's first official residence. So it is an extremely historic building, which the So I want to congratulate and thank the Honorable Foreign Minister for doing that. Our next speaker is High Commissioner of India, Gayatri Sarkumar, who has joined the London group of ambassadors just a couple of months back. She was India's ambassador and permanent delegate to the European Commission in Brussels. And before that, she had served in many Indian embassies in Paris and permanent mission in Geneva and other missions. She has the most remarkable credential that she holds as far as Bangladesh is concerned, is that she had worked as the additional foreign secretary attached to India's president, late President Jyoti Pranab Mukherjee, and has had the opportunity of serving with him very, very personally at the Foreign Office officer, and visited Bangladesh during Pranab Mukherjee's visit to Bangladesh. And that is why she carries forward with her all the memories, all the institutional memory, all the information, all the history of Pranab Mukherjee's relationship with Bangladesh. And we hope that she's new here, but I welcome her in the ambassadors group, including the lady ambassadors group, and we look forward to having a very, very strong relationship with the High Commissioner and her High Commission, Bangladesh High Commission, Indian High Commission in London. We're planning a joint program on the centenary of the Bangabandhu, where we have literatures from both countries, which we claim that belongs to us, which is Tagore and Nazrul, and we wanted to do this Tagore and Nazrul for Bangabandhu. And I hope that with High Commissioner Gayatri, you have the floor, madam.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Monaji. Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh, His Excellency Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, His Excellency Mr. Kit Leam, Secretary General IMO, Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, Secretary General Commonwealth, Mr. Fergus Auld, Head of the South Asia Department, Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office, Mr. James Bridge, Chief Executive of the UK National Commission for UNESCO, PRs to the IMO and dear diaspora of Bangladesh here in the UK. I thank Her Excellency, my dear colleague, High Commissioner of Bangladesh and Permanent Representative of Bangladesh to the IMO, for her kind invitation to join this historic commemoration. It's a big honor for me to convey the warm greetings and felicitations of my government and people through this forum to the government and the people and who are brothers and sisters in Bangladesh on the occasion of the birth centenary celebrations of the founding father of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Ladies and gentlemen, 25th September 1974 was indeed a landmark event in the history of the people of Bangladesh. their country had just become the 136th member of the United Nations. And on that historic day, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman had conveyed in his beloved Bangla language a historic message to the world through the UNGA. On that day, he committed his nation to the building of a world order in which the world's aspirations for peace and justice would be realized. And at that moment, he said, and I quote, he said that that moment was a time to reaffirm in unequivocal terms that there is an international responsibility to ensure that everyone, everywhere, should enjoy the economic, social, and cultural rights indispensable for his or her dignity and the free development of his or her personality as guaranteed by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And I quote, and India, one of the first countries to recognize Bangladesh on December 6, 1971, wholeheartedly welcomed the admission of Bangladesh into the UN. Our people's links with Bangladesh, well known, are civilizational, cultural, social, and economic. Bangabandhu is equally celebrated by the people of India as a charismatic and a visionary leader who won Bangladesh's freedom and independence in 1971. And he laid the foundations of the inclusive and secular society that Bangladesh is today. His leadership qualities, supreme dedication, aspiration, and sacrifice made him not only an iconic leader of his country, but also turned him into a political personality adored by international political leaders, as the previous speakers before me have elaborated. Bangabandhu spoke courageously about establishing equal rights, world peace, and justice for the oppressed, and he called for an end to the arms race, saying that huge resources had been wasted in unnecessary competition, and they should be utilized for the welfare instead of mankind. He also vowed to build a peaceful world free from the threat of nuclear war. Bangabandhu was an epitome of peace and harmony, firmly believing that weapons can never bring peace. And his charismatic leadership, great patriotism, towering personality, and unflinching ideology make him a leader extraordinaire. As Madam High Commissioner of Bangladesh just mentioned, I had the privilege of serving as a foreign service officer with the President of India and the late Honorable President Pranab Mukherjee. And he made it a point to make his first foreign visit, a historic visit to Bangladesh. And on that occasion, visited different parts of Bangladesh, associated with his own life personally and with the close relations between Bangladesh and India. And I also had the opportunity to visit, along with his delegation, the memorial to Bangabandhu in the residence that he had lived in. I could absorb the magnitude of his contribution, not only to Bangladesh, but to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, over the years with Bangladesh, one of India's closest neighbors, a long-standing friend and partner, our excellent bilateral relations under the leadership of Her Excellency, the Prime Minister, Madam Sheikh Hasina, have cemented our cooperation bilaterally and in international organizations such as the UN, the Commonwealth, the Indian Ocean Rim Association, and BIMSTEC. And we've built on our common approach to peacekeeping, to the Sustainable Development Goals, poverty alleviation, gender equality, and to addressing climate change and our other common priorities. both of us, India and Bangladesh, are interlinked like no two nations on earth. We believe that not only is our history, but also our destiny joined. We believe that we must develop and grow together, ensuring that our prosperity provides more opportunities to both our peoples alike. And of course, we face common challenges, and poverty is our common enemy. We are both committed to realize the true potential of our economic cooperation with each other. And we do appreciate the way Bangladesh is leading the way towards greater integration within our region and with our civilizational linkages in South Asia and Southeast Asia. Next year, both our countries will mark the 50th anniversary of the Liberation War, in which India and Bangladesh fought together for the freedom and independence of the Bangladeshi people. And we will also celebrate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. Our Honorable Prime Minister had in fact been scheduled to visit Bangladesh earlier this year in March to attend the grand inauguration ceremony of the celebrations to mark the birth centenary year of Bangabandhu. That would have been held on that day. But instead, making a virtual address on the occasion, our Honorable Prime Minister had pointed out, and I quote, in the last 5-6 years, India and Bangladesh have scripted a golden chapter of bilateral ties and given a new dimension and direction to our partnership. It's because of the increasing trust between the two countries that we have been able to amicably resolve complex issues such as boundary and maritime boundary. And Bangladesh is today not only India's biggest trading partner in South Asia, but also biggest development partner, unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to also congratulate all members of the World Maritime Organization, as we acknowledge the contribution of international maritime industries towards the economic progress of the world, especially in the shipping sector. And as other speakers have mentioned, the theme for this year's World Maritime Day, sustainable shipping for a sustainable planet, could not be more appropriate. As the world relies on safe, secure, and efficient international shipping as an essential component of any program for future sustainable and green economic growth, I think it is but natural that we should reiterate it and focus on it on this very important day. I'd also like to underline that India is in many ways a maritime nation, and this year's theme is of particular relevance to us as well, because we've launched several path-breaking initiatives towards developing the blue economy growth model for sustainable development of our nation. And today, as we commemorate the interlinked themes of maritime activities and resources, it's appropriate to flag that Bangladesh, at the crossroads of South and Southeast Asia, has played a leading role in South Asian regional and sub-regional cooperation and connectivity. And this has led to laudable results in our region in water management, electricity generation, grid connectivity, and of course, greater integration of Bangladesh and her neighbors and beyond into our extended neighborhood. Madam High Commissioner Moonaji, with these words, I once again offer my best wishes to you and assure you that the excellent cooperation between our governments in Delhi and Dhaka will continue to inspire our close cooperation here in London as well. I look forward to meeting you in person, and it's a great privilege to join you and to address this forum in the presence of His Excellency, the Foreign Minister. To him also my deepest respectful regards. I once again thank you very much for inviting me to this very special event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gayatri ji, for all those kind words about Bangladesh. And the people of Bangladesh will always be grateful to India, the people of India, for coming next to Bangladesh on 6th of December and support our war of liberation. And you mentioned that the bilateral relations is currently the age of the golden age of Bangladesh-India relations, and we hope to take it to a platinum age of relationship in the future. And looking forward to working with you at Commonwealth and IMO. I would, well, thank you once again. You know, in this panel, we had 3 women ambassadors and 6 men ambassadors. So therefore, I think we've got a good balance, gender balance here. With now, I'd like to welcome one more friend, High Commissioner of Kenya. High Commissioner, I had to put you down. You know, I thought that you would come a bit late, so I gave the floor to High Commissioner of India. I hope you don't mind. But you know, High Commissioner Manua Ispisu of Kenya has been an extremely good friend of Bangladesh. We know that Kenya is a very active country in multilateralism. And also at IMO and Commonwealth, they play a very active role, strong voice from Africa. But High Commissioner Isipisu is actually a very celebrated journalist from his country. And from journalism, he became the spokesperson of the Commonwealth for a long time. And he was very successful spokesperson of the Commonwealth. From there, his country has now appointed him as High Commissioner here, and he's been doing excellent. And the other day, High Commissioner Isipisu and me, our 2 countries did a peer review on our SDGs successes with the UK All-Party Parliamentary Group on SDGs. High Commissioner, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I thank you, Your Excellency Saida Muna Tasmin, for inviting me to speak at this event on the occasion of the maiden speech of the founding father of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, at the 29th UNGA in September 1974. I also take the early opportunity to recognize His Excellency Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, and we're glad to have him here. May I also recognize the Secretary General of IMO, Kita Klim, and the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scotland, Baroness Scotland. Colleagues, as well as the Bangladeshi diaspora. Again, I thank you, High Commissioner, for this opportunity. And I also thank and recognize Foreign Minister Momen, who has worked closely with Africa, with the African Union, under the South-South Cooperation as part of his work when he was PR in New York, where he obviously represented Bangladesh. He is well known on our continent for those efforts, and our continent is grateful to him for engaging as he did in supporting the South-South Cooperation. I extend the heartiest congratulations to the government and people of Bangladesh on the occasion of the birth centenary of their founding father, the Bangabandhu, in 2020 to 2021. I also pay special tribute to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman on his birth centenary as the charismatic and visionary leader of the non-aligned movement who worked through the 70s in a dedicated way in a struggle for peace, justice, freedom, and equality that led to Bangladesh's independence in 1971. And he didn't stop there with Bangladesh's independence. He continued to work with colleagues across the world to secure the independence of other countries, including, at the time, Zimbabwe and Namibia on our continent. And he also continued to fight against apartheid in South Africa. for this. The continent has always recognized him. In his maiden speech that we reference on the 25th of September 1974 at the UN, Bangabandhu said that, and I quote, "But injustice and oppression persist in many parts of the world. The process of decolonization, though greatly advanced, has yet to reach its ultimate goal. This is particularly true in Africa, where the heroic peoples of Zimbabwe and Namibia are still engaged in a grim struggle for freedom and national liberation." And as I've said before, he then went on to work with others to ensure that that state of the time was changed. We appreciate Bangladesh's active leadership at different multilateral fora, including at the United Nations, at the IMO, and at the Commonwealth. Especially, we want to mention Bangladesh's peacekeeping role in Africa since the 1980s, starting from its participation in the UN mission in Namibia and peace-building contributions in many post-conflict African countries through its civilian police and NGOs such as BRAC for microcredit and non-formal primary education. Of course, Kenyan troops have worked alongside Bangladeshi troops in a number of these missions, and we can truly say that they have contributed a great deal in peace building and peace maintaining in many parts of our continent. I'd like to state that Kenya and Bangladesh have enjoyed excellent relations multilaterally and bilaterally, especially on climate change and collaboration around the UN Habitat, which is headquartered in Nairobi, as well as in the implementation of the 2030 SDGs. As my sister Saida just mentioned, we were two of us testifying to the UK Parliament recently about where we are in terms of implementation and where we see gaps that are necessary to be filled in order for us to reach this pivotal goal. I thank and congratulate Bangladesh also for taking over the presidency of the Climate Vulnerable Forum and the Vulnerable 2020 group of ministers of finance for the term 2020-2022. As you know, Kenya is a member. We call upon Bangladesh also to continue to be a voice of climate vulnerable African countries, including mine, and to promote their climate justice interests in the global platform. And we stand ready to work with Bangladesh to ensure this is done and is done well. Kenya looks forward to strengthen its cooperation with Bangladesh at the IMO, at the Commonwealth, and at other fora as well. And in terms of the World Maritime Day, which we also celebrate, I'd like to mention the unprecedented difficult pandemic crisis in which we live. A global maritime solidarity provides an excellent opportunity to raise awareness around the SDGs and also showcase the work that the IMO and its member states are undertaking to achieve its targets, including, of course, the rescuing of seafarers during the height of the pandemic. We will continue to work with Bangladesh on the various international fora, including the IMO, to achieve our shared values and to ensure that these organizations continue to be effective and deliver to the mandate of their members. I would like to conclude by thanking Her Excellency Saida Muna Tasnim, High Commissioner for Bangladesh and Permanent Representative to the IMO, for inviting me to this event to commemorate the very important role played by the founding father of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I thank you.
Thank you very much, High Commissioner, for that, your kind words. And we'd like to assure you that we look forward to working with Kenya towards building climate resilience for the climate vulnerable African countries. And we also look forward to working with you at the UN Habitat and certainly at the IMO. Thank you for mentioning Bangabandhu's speech and the question of Zimbabwe and Namibia and how he stood next and expressed solidarity with the African countries. And of course, we work with Kenya and the UN peacekeeping operations. We're very, very happy doing so. I now have the floor. I will now give the floor to the Norwegian ambassador. And he's also the permanent representative of Norway to IMO, Ambassador Strommen, who was also Norway's permanent representative in Geneva and DPR in New York. And he was in New York. I was just reading his little story like CV, and it says that he was in New York during the 1/11 terrorist attacks. And Ambassador Strommen has been a pillar of support to Bangladesh, particularly at the IMO, because Norway is a very powerful country in the IMO, and they absolutely very humble, stands next to every country that needs capacity building and different kinds of support to make shipping more sustainable and environment friendly. From that perspective, Norway has been supporting this project called SENSEC that is preparing Bangladesh to sign the Hong Kong Convention. Ambassador Strommen, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Many thanks to my colleague and friend, Bangladesh High Commissioner here in London, for arranging this event and for inviting me to speak. Very kind of you to integrate a country like Norway. This will, of course, be a little bit congratulation and a view from the North Pole. I'm not in your region, but we are a proof of international cooperation together. Let me also acknowledge the gracious presence of Bangladesh Foreign Minister Abdul Momen. Thank you very much for being with us. Congratulations on the occasion of the birth centenary of your founding father and of the maiden speech at the UN. I am born in 1959, and I remember Bangladesh's struggle for independence. It was a major event in my youth. Norway also struggled in a very different way, but we struggled for our independence, so it wasn't that difficult, really, to grasp what was going on back in those days. I'm very happy to note that we actually have agreed to commemorate next year, the 50th anniversary of our independence in a faraway place like Norway. And on behalf of the government of Norway, I say we really look forward to it. The one thing Norway and Bangladesh have in common, and which is the basis for our collaboration and excellent relations, is that we live by and off the sea, and we are both seafaring nations, and somehow our development and prosperity is totally linked to the sea. In my home village, where I grew up on the south coast of Norway, there were many people that had been to Bangladesh, which was quite exotic in the 60s and the 70s. And there was only one reason for that. They had been on board ships that had been there. Therefore, it is such a pleasure to acknowledge how fruitful our collaboration on maritime affairs has been, and it's continue to grow. This remarkable partnership proves that geographical distance, and some would say maybe also some cultural differences, can be overcome for the common good. And Norway and Bangladesh, not the least, working together in the IMO, is a proof that these kind of relationships that we really need in the future. To go from Norway to Bangladesh, you don't need to pass any other place. You can just get on a boat and go there. It'll take you a while, but you will get there. Congratulations, félicitations for this commemorative event, and may our our collaboration continue fruitfully the way we have it ongoing for a long time into the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Excellency. It's been a pleasure working with you at the IMO. Last year, you participated in our ship recycling event, and we always get inspired by your speeches and your political will to support Bangladesh. Distance doesn't matter; it's the friendship that matters, and we are connecting through friendship. So, diplomacy through friendship is what we believe in. And thank you very much for staying back with us, because I know that we have really, really exceeded time, and I do apologize for that. But these things happen when people get emotional and started, reflecting on their bilateral relations. Norway has been with Bangladesh right after independence, and NORAD has been working with Bangladesh for 50 years. So I think that many, just like High Commissioner of India has mentioned, that we'll be celebrating 50 years with India, we'll be celebrating 50 years with UK, and many other countries from Europe actually had recognized Bangladesh quite early. So the European friends were always doing our liberation war next to us. Thank you very much for kind words about Bangladesh and what you remembered. I now have the pleasure of giving the floor to Ambassador of Japan in the UK and permanent representative to IMO, Ambassador Nagamine Yusumasa. And Ambassador Nagamine has joined London from 26 November. So, I absolutely welcome him to UK, because his predecessor was a good friend of mine, and he had participated in our IMO ship recycling program as well. Japan is yet another country with whom we collaborate very closely at the IMO, and they're also supporting Bangladesh's Sansec project and different kinds of technical capacity building for ship recycling industry workers. So the collaboration we have is very substantive, and Ambassador, I absolutely look forward to meeting you at the IMO sometime and working together towards the Hong Kong Convention. But more importantly, Japan is yet another country that has, Japanese school children. I've heard, our Honorable Prime Minister say that Japanese school children had saved up tiffin money to support Bangladesh's humanitarian crisis, refugee crisis during our liberation war, when 10 million Bangladeshis took shelter in India as refugees. So Bangladesh and Japan relationship is simply something else. I request the Ambassador to make his comments. You have the floor, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Excellency High Commissioner Madame Tasneem. And I am very much honored to have been invited to this event today to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the birth of Bangladesh founding father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and to his maiden speech at the UNGA in 1974 as a new member to the United Nations at the time. And I'm so glad to see many distinguished participants and speakers, including Bangladesh Foreign Minister Dr. Abdul Momen, and also Secretary General of IMO, Kita Lim. And our two countries, Japan and Bangladesh, have enjoyed friendly relations ever since the establishment of Bangladesh as an independent country. Indeed, our close ties are reflected in the similarity of our two national flags. The first president of Bangladesh, Mujibur Rahman, visited Japan in 1973, and our two countries will celebrate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations in 2022. Japan and Bangladesh enjoy very deep economic ties as well. More than 300 Japanese companies are now operating in Bangladesh, which continues to register high economic growth, as been reported. And Japan will continue to promote the comprehensive partnership with Bangladesh in the future. Bangladesh is working very closely with the international community, and Japan very much appreciate her activities at the United Nations, including its contribution to the peacekeeping operations. And Japan also appreciates the Bangladesh government's huge humanitarian efforts in accepting displaced persons from Rakhine State, Myanmar. We emphasize that the importance of creating an environment for the early repatriation of displaced persons in a safe, voluntary, and dignified manner, and also of the importance of providing assistance for those people and host communities with the cooperation with the United Nations. Certainly, Japan has provided approximately 130 million US dollars to that end to Bangladesh, and Japan will continue to provide appropriate support to that end. I would like to take this opportunity held on the IMO platform to refer to Bangladesh's contribution to the maritime field, in particular ship recycling. The early commencement of the Hong Kong Convention is paramount, not only for the improvement of safety and environmental protection in ship recycling, but also for the sound development of the maritime industry as it facilitates the smooth withdrawal of aged ships. Japan had played a leading role in the development of the convention at the IMO.
our relations on trade, on investment, transfer of agricultural technology. And not only we have a good bilateral relationship, what I'm proud of is that together we also can make a difference on the world stage. We commend Bangladeshi efforts to counter, for instance, climate change. You're chairing the Climate Vulnerable Forum is an important step. We ourselves, we're hosting in January the Climate Adaptation Summit in a virtual way in Holland, and we've invited Sheikha Hasina to join us with a statement there in a virtual way as well. We really hope she will join us. But that fight together of these two countries makes a difference on the world stage, which is also true for joint efforts for small island development states, for Agenda 2030, and certainly also for human rights, such a central theme in the speech that we are celebrating today. Some special words also on accountability. Mona, thank you so much for the political support, and Abdul as well. Bangladesh is giving to our common support with Canada for the Gambia court case at the International Court of Justice on the mass atrocities committed against Rohingya people. It's really important that you support us, and we commend Bangladesh for your continuing efforts to give refuge to the Rohingya people. It's very important you do that. And last point, I will be also our permanent representative to the IMO. I must confess to the Secretary General Lin, I have not been able yet to present my credentials to you. I hope to do so as soon as possible. Let me just say in advance of that very important moment in my life, that we fully support you and your ambitious agenda for a safe, secure, and sustainable shipping.
Thankful to everyone who spoke. We have two more speakers, very good friends, very, very important development partners. Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, a very, very important country for Bangladesh, because we have nearly 2 million migrant workers from Bangladesh working in Saudi Arabia. It has been a very long-standing relationship. They host our migrant workers, they take care of them, and there's economic contribution to both countries. But apart from that, at the OIC, we cooperate so closely in science and technology. And more importantly, Saudi Arabia has been next to Bangladesh on the Rohingya issue. And Saudi Arabia's permanent representative, His Excellency Mr. Essam Alamari, he is a diplomat, perhaps an engineer and a maritime diplomat, and he's been appointed at IMO permanent representative by a royal decree. I request Ambassador Essam to say a few words. You have the floor, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellency, thank you for this presentation. Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to participate in this commemorative event. First of all, I would like to recognize the presence of His Excellency Dr. Abdul Momen, Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, and to thank him for his speech. And to thank Your Excellency High Commissioner of Bangladesh, Ms. Saida Muna Tasneem, a good friend of mine, for inviting me to the commemorative event on the occasion of the birth centenary of the Bangabandhu, the founding father of Bangladesh, Bangabandhu Sheikh Rahman. And to mark Bangabandhu's maiden speech at the United Nations General Assembly following Bangladesh membership at the UN in 1970. Also, I would like to congratulate His Excellency, the Secretary General of the IMO, and ambassadors, permanent representatives, and all IMO member states on the occasion of the World Maritime Day, which we celebrated yesterday, and to thank especially all the seafarers around the world for their contribution. Your Excellency, Bangladesh and Saudi Arabia have maintained cordial and close bonds since the establishment of the diplomatic ties. Friendship between the two has been characterized by a mutual understanding and a deep sense of fraternity. Saudi Arabia is the largest and the most valued destination for the large number of Bangladeshi workforces who was contributing significantly to the national development of both friendly countries. Our two friendly countries shares a common views on many regional and international issues based on shared priorities, perspectives, and fraternal relations that have strengthened the cooperation between the two countries within the United Nations, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, the International Maritime Organization, IMO, and other international and regional forums. After the recent and the special visit of the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, to Saudi Arabia in May of 2019, the existing bonds between the two countries have been reinforced to further deepen bilateral ties in many fields, such as trade, investment, defense, culture, education, manpower, and regional and international maritime cooperation. Bangladesh and Saudi Arabia are also collaborating in multilateral arena on many global issues under the UN, including migration and development, the Rohingya crisis, and ocean governance and blue economy. Excellency, we support your re-election to the IMO Council, and I look forward for more cooperation between our two friendly countries at IMO. Finally, I wish you the year-long activities by the Honorable Bangladesh High Commission in London during the birth centenary year of the success. And to thank you for organizing this event and to let us meet with members of our IMO family in London, who I'm looking forward to host them and physically and personally at IMO. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Permanent Representative, Excellency Asar, for your kind words towards Bangladesh. We look forward to working with Saudi Arabia. Which, in today's meeting, you'll be representing the entire Gulf, and we've tried to have regional representation for each region. And our last speaker, and before that, thank you once again, the Permanent Representative of Saudi Arabia. We look forward to working with you at the IMO. We have the last speaker today, representing the ASEAN region, is the IMO representative from Malaysia, Mr. Abdul Samad bin Shaikh Osman, a maritime expert. You have the floor, sir, Mr. Osman.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to Honorable Dr. A.K. Abdul Momin, Honorable Foreign Minister of the People, Republic of Bangladesh, Your Excellency Mr. Kitak Lim of International Maritime Organization, Her Excellency Baroness Patricia Janet Scotland, Secretary General of Commonwealth, Her Excellency Ms. Saida Muna Tasneem, High Commissioner of Bangladesh to United Kingdom, and the Permanent Representative of Bangladesh to IMO. Excellency, High Commissioners, and Ambassador, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and respected colleagues. I wish to convey the wishes and congratulations on behalf of the High Commission of Malaysia on this momentous occasion, the event to commemorate the maiden speech of the most respected Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at 29th United Nations General Assembly in 1974. We wish to extend our esteemed gratitude and thanks to the Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. Momin, and Her Excellency, Her Excellency High Commissioner Ms. Saida Buna Taslim for inviting us to speak at this event. We are proud to join the people of Bangladesh in commemorating this day in the history on the membership of Bangladesh at United Nations. We are equally reminiscent of the respected Sheikh Mujibur Rahman legacy as well as his ideals on peace, non-violence and social justice, which has echoed in 1974 and still prevails in this time and the age. The universal values stand out as a common heritage for mankind, even more in this time of uncertainties. Excellencies, the Republic of Bangladesh and Malaysia have a long history going back to 1972. From then, Malaysia and Bangladesh have worked in unison on key issues with the United Nations. The Organization of Islamic Countries, the International Maritime Organization, the Commonwealth, International Seabed Authority, ASEAN Regional Forum, to name a few. The work of our both nations is extensive, covering many global issues such as climate change, migration, human capital development, maritime safety and security, ocean governance, and blue economy. Our bilateral relationship is founded on deep sense, mutual understanding, and fraternity. It is exemplary nature of how both countries can share and work in unison toward achieving a path of mutual growth and prospect. The leadership and foresight of our nation are exemplary. And the testament to this is when the most respected Bangabadhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, first visited Malaysia in 1973 and laid the foundation to Malaysia and Bangladesh bilateral relations. Malaysia is one of the largest destinations for the Bangladeshi workforce who are leaving bridge to bind both our countries, and these bridges contribute to both significant sustenance, development of both countries. Bangladeshi seafarers serving on relationship are an asset professionally. Their professionalism is the testament to the maritime education training system of Bangladesh. Both countries mutually recognize the training and certification of seafarers. I'm sure you will agree that talent and workforce in one of many facets to the long-standing working relationship between both nations. In 2014, Her Excellency Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina visit to Malaysia further moved the bilateral ties to all new heights, with more active collaboration in trade and development, talent management, education, aviation, tourism, sport, defense, science and technology, and transportation. We hope and aspire that this collaboration and ties will grow and continue in these years to come. We wish to congratulate the Republic of Bangladesh for visionary leadership and to take this opportunity to wish the Bangladeshi High Commission all the best and every success in the year-long festivities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain Abdul, for your kind words and recalling Bangladesh's historic visit to Malaysia in 1973. Definitely the relationship started there, and we want to take it to a much, much stronger and higher level in the future. Malaysia is an extremely important country within the ASEAN for Bangladesh, not only because it hosts the largest numbers of migrant workers from Bangladesh within the ASEAN region, but at the same time, we have this bilateral cooperation and security cooperation between the IORA and the ARF and the Shangri-La process as well. And definitely at the IMO, we look forward to working with you. And thank you for your kind words and participation in our program today. With these words, I would like to first apologize that, we took much more time than anticipated because even though we kept the time for 4 minutes for many people, but, everyone, I want to thank everyone positively because, they, out of emotion and bilateral relations with Bangladesh, everybody said and spoke their heart. I just want to mention that, I have my colleagues from the Bangladesh High Commission who have worked very, very hard for this program for the last 1 week. And we have our Deputy High Commissioner here. We have our Minister Consular who looks after the Consular Visa Wing. We have Defense Advisor. We have the Commercial Counselor, Passport Visa First Secretary, and Counselor Political and many First Secretaries. Alternate permanent representative to IMO, Mr. Shadipto Alam, everybody is here. So I want to thank my colleagues for helping me organize this program, but most importantly, everyone who participated in it, including the two Secretary Generals, particularly Excellency Kitak Lim, to whom we would like to reaffirm our commitment to IMO's mission and to enhance our maritime profile within the IMO, but also, everything that we cooperate on, welfare of our seafarer, our maritime safety security, our shipbuilding and ship recycling industry, our blue economy aspirations, everything, and environmental protection. We absolutely look forward to working with you in improving in every way and contributing more to IMO's work. Hopefully we plan to contest elections and come back in 2021, and we seek support from every country, every permanent representative to vote for Bangladesh so we can get re-elected in IMO's governing council. With these words, I want to close to this program, and I would like to end with Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib's quote from his unfinished memoir. And this would define Bangabandhu. It's very easy to understand Bangabandhu if somebody reads it. This is his unfinished memoir. He couldn't finish it, and most of it he wrote while he was in prison. And his daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, took the initiative to translate it into English. And I quote, "As a man, what concerns mankind concerns me. As a Bengali, I'm deeply involved in all that concerns Bengalis. This abiding involvement is born of and nourished by love, enduring love, which gives meaning to my politics and to my very being." Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, 1973. I think the best way to define Bangabandhu is one of the greatest humanitarians from South Asia, who was a Gandhian, who believed in non-violence, and he had spent time in prison in peaceful protest and hunger strikes. That defines Bangabandhu, and his 1974 speech in the United General Assembly also defines the kind of great leader and stature of statesman he was. But more importantly, he was a people's person, and he said, "My greatest strength is I love my people. My greatest weakness is that I love them too much." So with these words, I would like to conclude to this program and thank everyone who's been with us throughout the program, and all the Bangladeshi British brothers and sisters, Bhai Bonera, who've joined us and listened to us with patience. Thank you very, very much. And with these words, I would like to say goodbye. James, thank you. And many comments are coming, many people participating in giving comments. I want to thank everybody who's joined from Bangladesh, from all over the world, from Ireland, my friends from Ireland, everyone, thank you very, very much. Carol, thank you so much. It's wonderful knowing you. Looking at your photograph at the back, all of us felt we need a photograph like that for our High Commission, but we don't have it. We don't have the President, the Prime Minister next to us in a photograph, so we plan to do that. Yes. And Ambassador SR, thank you very much for staying back towards the end. I'm really sorry that you had to wait for so long, but looking forward to cooperation with everyone. And thanks to our Foreign Office friends and the UK UNESCO Commission, James Bridge. We hope to organize a conference on the Rohingyas here in the UK, perhaps under the aegis of the Commonwealth on the 21st of October. And Foreign Office Minister, Lord Ahmed for Commonwealth and UN has given us time. So we are looking towards working with the High Commission of Canada to co-chair this meeting. And we hope that we'll be able to bring to the fore the issue of the Rohingyas and the justice for the Rohingyas in the UK on the floor of the Commonwealth. And I hope that everyone joins in. But before that, we'll also be holding a program on CVF with the Commonwealth CVF countries and the IMF CVF countries to brief them our CVF priorities that are coming up from Dhaka. And looking forward to meeting all of you again. Take care, stay safe, and let's stay connected over the digital connectivity. Goodbye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.